All right, good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, rather. I'm Capt Holoman, your Assistant Security Manager here at VMM 764. What I'm going to do is give you the annual Emergency Action Plan. This is the mission assurance brief for the installation. Mission assurance basically covers several things, kind of brings OPSEC, cybersecurity, ATFP, and physical security all into one thing. What we're trying to do with this is to, number one, protect, so take defensive measures daily. Know the emergencies, common to San Diego, like earthquakes, things like that. Then we respond, so what do we do when the emergency happens? And then we recover. How do we do that? We get accountability, we assess the damage, we report it, and we move on. All right, emergency notification is going to come a couple different ways. Number one is going to be the giant voice. So this will happen. The loudspeaker that plays Reveille and taps in the evening, or colors rather, is going to put out a warning saying that there is an emergency happening, and they'll give more information. Also, if anybody's ever worked at a computer in the Marine Corps, you've probably seen the little little square that pops out in the bottom right hand of your screen from time to time saying that there's something happening currently, or that this is a test of the emergency notification system. It'll give more information when you click on the link. You actually have to click on the acknowledge button to make it go away. So that's how that goes out. When the information does come out, it's going to go by zone. So they're going to say something's happening in a particular zone. The base is divided into these zones here. What I'll draw your attention to is the big one to the bottom of the screen there, number 9. That's the entire airfield and pretty much all of the hangars. So we work in Area 9. Your barracks are mostly in Area 5, and then all the main side stuff, like where you would go for the exchange commissary right here, is Area 2. So those are ones to be aware of. All right. Threats are kind of put into force protection conditions. Number 1 is Alpha. That's the lowest one. Correction, actually normal is the lowest one, but it's not even really worth discussing here because I don't think we're ever going to be at normal. So Alpha is increased threat of general possible terrorist activity against personnel facilities. Nothing specific that we know about. Does anyone know what we're at right now? Force protection condition for the base?
Bravo.
I think I heard Bravo. Bravo is correct. It says right there on the front gate when you walk in. What does Bravo mean? Increased or more predictable threats exist, and what we're going to do there is anti-terrorism measures such as random vehicle inspections, walking out in the parking lot and looking for expired license plates, cars that have been left in parking lots for an excessive amount of time, things like that. Also at the gate, they're doing 100% ID check. Charlie comes when something specifically is probably going to happen. So we have likely credible intel that something's going to happen, and then we'll put up things like barriers, ECPs. You'll have Marines out there with rifles, Kevlars, etc. on, ready to go. And you might see some services delayed, like things like being able to come into the movie theater to see a movie on the weekends. That might be turned off because we have specific credible threats, okay? Delta is the highest one, so when it comes to Delta, what you want to know is that's probably where something has immediately happened, like something has just happened in this area, and it's usually very specific, like the main side of base, not the flight line. The flight line's okay, but something just happened at the exchange. That whole area is in FPCon Delta, but everything else could be in Charlie, okay? And information will come out there via email, via the giant voice. Okay, how do we know a terrorist attack's going to happen? These are the kind of how it ramps up. Surveillance, so you're going to see people outside the fence line looking in with binoculars, taking pictures, just kind of sitting in their cars outside the gate looking. If you see someone doing stuff like that, it's definitely, you need to tell the gate guards on your way in, or if you're on your way out, stop as soon as you can and call back to PMO and let them know what's going on. Elicitation, this is a big one. Not normally when we are just kind of living our daily lives, but if you ever go to an air show or we have a hangar party and there's lots of civilians on base kind of checking out the airplanes, you can see people asking very specific questions. Wanting to know how fast a V-22 goes, okay, fine, that's great. Wanting to know, like, how many V-22s do you guys have in the inventory right now? What's your guys' mission capability rate on average, right? Things like that are extremely specific and are not worth answering, and you need to report those people. Then they might test the security, see if they can get someone, like, just walk through a gate without maybe getting stopped by PMO on their way in, asking you to swipe them into the flight line, okay? If someone's just in civvies and just wants to see if they just ask if someone will swipe them into the turnstile, okay, you need to take down this person's description and then report them as soon as possible. And then obviously acquiring supplies, explosives, weapons, things like that. Then they'll practice it, and then they'll actually deploy assets and set up for the attack. So basically, like I said, I can't hit this one enough. If you see something on the way in, tell PMO, tell the gate guards as you drive through the gate, and then if you see it on the way out, stop, call back to PMO. I'll have their number here in a minute. Or you can use the Eagle Eyes. We'll talk about that. If it requires immediate assistance, though, you think like an attack is imminent right now, you need to call 911. Here's what Eagle Eyes is. There's Eagle Eyes protection all around the country, so it kind of goes by region. So this is the phone number, 877-356-3937. That'll take you to a hotline that gives you Pendleton, gives you here and one other location. I think it's Yuma. And so you just click on the number. You just press the number for the one you need. It's very self-explanatory. These are all the kinds of things you ever want to tell someone about what suspicious activity you saw, location, height, weight, etc., what the car looked like, how old it was, general condition of things. PMO is going to review all of this stuff and then take action as required. Also, I'll note this one, usmceagleeyes.org is the website where you can go. Yes, it is a .org, not a .gov. I thought that was weird too, but that's actually what it really is. Okay, and we're going to OPSEC. This is another part of the things you got to hear every year. OPSEC is just basically how we keep the stuff that could help the enemy defeat us from the enemy's from enemy discovery. Okay, we keep it all to ourselves. What's critical information? It really depends. It depends on who the adversary is. It depends on who you are as the friendly force. But generally, it's specific information that the enemy can use to keep us from having a successful outcome for our operations, or guarantee failure or unacceptable consequences for us. Okay. Here's the thing, it's easy to wish away what is critical to the enemy. It's really hard to tell, like, okay, I just got this one flight schedule, it's unclassified, so what, throw it away, I don't need it. It's important to think about the enemy has a lot of time to plan, the enemy has a lot of time to think about this stuff when they're making an attack, so it's one careless action by you is just one of probably thousands that take place across the Marine Corps every day, and all this information can get coordinated, or collected and aggregated, and then it can tell the enemy a pretty substantial picture about what we're doing. So what do? Okay, watch what you post on social media. If you're about to deploy, stop talking about potential deployment dates, where we're going, what our mission's probably going to be. You guys know a lot more than you think you do, and people probably post a lot more than they think they do. Metadata on pictures. So when you go to all your smartphones, you need to turn off all the metadata on your phones when you take those pictures, so that it's not recording time, location, etc. Because you could just take a quick selfie out on the flight line with some of your friends. Well, you got how much of the flight line in the background? We don't know, but that'll give time, date, etc. And then someone can be like, oh, look at this. Throughout the week here, maybe you were one post on Twitter. And then some other people post something else on Instagram, and then they can kind of just follow that trail and then see what's going on the flight line throughout the week. So you never know who's watching. That's kind of the whole point. When it comes to unclassed documents, everyone we put this in the Moonlightgram every month, but there is a shredder up in mission planning for everyone to shred unclassified documents. Basically, what do you shred? Anything that you would not hand to a foreign spy, adversary, whatever. If you wouldn't give that over to a Chinese national spy in the area, don't put it in the trash can, right? Also, when it comes to people ask a lot of questions, and it's real easy to, everyone knows you're in the military because you got the right haircut, and if you're in uniform, obviously they know that too. So again, air shows, things like that, or when you're on deck, guys might be around. Lots of civilians have access to flight lines, and they're not necessarily vetted all that well. So seemingly harmless questions can really add up, and they can really kind of get a solid picture from just a very basic conversation about where you're from, what your unit's doing there, and how many airplanes you got, etc. Moving away from that, this is the bomb threat response stuff. So here's some stuff about how to react to a bomb threat. If it comes in via the phone, remain calm and try and keep the people on the phone as long as possible. Okay, you want to keep them talking so that we can do the next couple things, which is number one, alert somebody else to call 911, and then don't hang up your phone to call 911. You want to keep this guy talking. So write something down, get someone's attention, gesture, call 911, and then go through the bomb checklist, which we'll talk about in a second. It's up at the duty desk. If it's received by handwritten note, call 911. Don't touch the note as much as possible, or handle it as little as possible. If you receive it by email, again, call 911. Don't delete the email. What should we do immediately? Evacuate the building, give the word so that we can get everyone out of the squadron, and then we should be telling our sister squadrons up and down the line to leave as well. We already talked about calling 911. You conduct a search for suspicious packages, but don't spend a lot of time doing it. If it's on your way out, great, but otherwise don't go roaming through the building trying to find this thing. We're going to muster in the dirt lot across the street where the dumpsters are from the parking lot there. And then make sure, as we're in the rally point there in that dirt lot, we look for other bombs and whatnot, because sometimes that is a tactic that you can use. Scare someone out of the safe place into the rally place where they think it's safe, and then put the bomb there. Don't touch the suspicious package, and don't use two-way radios or cell phones around it, because RF energy can destroy it. Here's what the bomb threat checklist looks like. It's at the duty desk in the binder. Essentially what you're looking for is all these things on the right-hand side, any tiny little detail you can think of about the caller. Male, female, scratchy voice, raspy, is there music in the background? Does it sound like they're in a car? Does it sound like they're outside? Anything like that is helpful. Bottom line though, don't hang up. Have someone else call 911. Active shooter, lockdown procedures. So when it comes to an active shooter at another location on base, hopefully we'll get the giant voice to tell us about it, and we'll get emails on our .gov emails, or that little box notification will come out on the computer. You're going to just follow any instructions that are given, number one, but as long as the shooter is not near you, what you're going to do is barricade in your place, in your area, lock windows, doors, move to the most inward part of your office. If there's like back offices, get in there, get everyone in there, lock it, etc. Don't let anybody in there that you don't know. And then armed duty officers should prepare to protect the personnel in their area. So if you're the SDO and you've got the pistol, this is probably going to be you. No matter what though, if you're the SDO or if you are just anybody else, do not leave where you currently are to go look for the shooter and try and help. If the shooter is at your location, number one, you want to run. If there's an escape path, attempt to escape, even if others don't follow you. Leave everything you need to behind. Obviously, try and take your cell phone if you can, but don't try and gather all your belongings. Just get out. Call 911 when you are safe, and then report what's going on. If they're at your location and running is no longer an option, you need to shelter in place. First, you need to hide. So try and find a place to hide all those things I just talked about. Inner offices, no doors, lock them, hide behind large objects, and then just remain as quiet as you possibly can. Your area should ideally be out of the shooter's view. Provide protection in case shots are fired, and also allow you an alternate egress in case you need to run from that place. Now, obviously, if you're inside of a back office, there's nowhere else to go, but that could still be the safest place. As a last resort, very last resort, fight, okay? This is if your life is in immediate danger and you think there's no other option. You can use whatever you can to attack the shooter, and then it says commit to your actions. That's a big one they want to stress there. And then gain control of the weapons and disable the shooter. When help arrives, this one's really key. So when law enforcement comes, remain calm and cooperate. Just get face down on the ground, put your hands out where everyone can see them. Make sure it's very clear that nothing is in your hands. And then don't point or yell saying like, that's a shooter, that's a shooter. That could be just, that could just mess everything else up for law enforcement trying to determine what's going on. And don't ask for help, okay? And also if you're running away and these guys and law enforcement's coming in, don't ask for their direction, don't ask for their help doing anything. Just get out of their way and go if you're already running away as they're showing up. Big thing is their first primary purpose when they get there is just trying to disable the shooter and handle that situation as aggressively as possible. They don't have time to talk to you. All right, that's it for active shooter. Earthquakes. So this is going back into knowing what might be the biggest threats to us in the area. Natural disasters here in California. Okay, it's probably going to be an earthquake out here or a fire. So if it's an earthquake and you're inside, drop, cover, get under something sturdy, stay away from windows, stay indoors until all the shaking stops, and then get outside the building. If you're outside, find a clear spot away from power lines, trees, poles, things like that. If you're driving, try and pull over to a clear area, and then, so again, same thing, stay away from power lines, poles, etc. If you're near unstable cliffs, try and not stop near that unstable cliff and get away as far away from any debris that might be coming down as possible. Okay, let's see. After the earthquake, you're going to have aftershocks potentially. Treat them all as you would the original earthquake, the exact same guide supplies. Check for injuries on yourself or others. Get out of the building. Don't go into damaged buildings. And then look for and extinguish small fires. These are little things that could come out and destroy buildings that weren't already destroyed by the earthquake. The fires can get them. Check cell phone, landline, see if you still got connectivity, obviously, and then as soon as you can, call someone, tell them that you're safe. If you have a life-threatening emergency, tell them that call 911 for that one. Here's a list of all of the phone numbers you need to know. On the right side for PMO, that's the number third down from the right side there, 858-307-4068. That's also on every phone roster distro in the squadron. Are there any questions on anything that I covered here today? Fantastic. Thanks for your time.